Hey everybody, it's Missy again, and I have another layout today for the Simple Stories creative team. And for this layout, I decided to combine the Sunshine and Happiness collection with the Let's Party collection. And I'm going to scrapbook this hilarious strip of photos of my youngest child, who is the queen of making silly faces, as you can see in these pictures. And whenever I take a picture of her with my cell phone, she tries to get as close as she can, and of course these hilarious pictures are the result. So I've chosen several things from both collections here, and I want this to be a wild, colorful, happy layout to showcase these crazy pictures. And so the first things that caught my eye were just the things that I was pointing out there a second ago. I've had my eye on this 4x6 Project Life style card for a while, and that is from the Sunshine and Happiness collection, and I've been dying to fussy cut it, and so I did that, and I want to incorporate that some way on my page. And I love this strip on the left of this geometric pattern. I just think it's very colorful and wild and kind of random, and that's kind of how my child is: wild, colorful, and random. And of course, this is going to take a totally different turn, but this is how my original idea started. This is from the Let's Party collection, and it's from the Snap Pack also, and it's one of the cards. I think it's from one of the cards. It might, it might be from that 12 by 12 sheet with all of the words. I can't remember at this particular second, but I'm going to fussy cut that as well. And then I did some more rummaging through the sheets, and I want to incorporate this funny cow and this party banner here that's chipboard. Now, the cows are funny because on this Let's Party collection, there's a lot of different cows with party hats and the phrase "party till the cows come home." And I just think that's hilarious because my child is just having a random moment here, but she basically is the life of the party all the time. She's always in a mood to make you laugh and to just be silly and enjoy the moment. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to make this a party type layout, even though it's not birthday or anything like that. So the cow is going to make sense as we go. So when I think of parties and I saw that party banner, I thought I need to make banners of my own. So I grabbed I think it was 1.5 inch punch, and grabbed a lot of colorful papers and just punched out a lot of circles. And then I'm just going to randomly cut them in half, and I'm going to create some banners out of these half circles on my background. And this is just white cardstock from my stash, and I'm just going to play around here and try to mix and match the colors and the patterns and create some fun little banners in the background. And I think the key to making the banners look cute is to overlap them sort of at the ends, like where I have the blue and the green, and then kind of, make one banner tilt up and the other one kind of tilt down, and then just kind of go back and forth to make them look a little more realistic, I guess you could say. And this is something that's really fun to do with scraps because, when you punch circles like this, it really doesn't take a lot of paper. So I kind of have an idea there. I want to jazz up the background behind where the banners are going to go. And so I just do some packaging technique here with some of my shimmers. And I do all the bright colors. I do the yellow and I do some pink. And this technique, if you have not tried it, I know if you've watched my videos before, I think I do this on pretty much every page I ever make, because it works. It works every time. I'm happy with it. The technique is easy, it's fast, and you get this really cool effect that the plastic just does for you. It's a totally different look than if you were to use a brush. And a brush is pretty too. It's just different. So I like to do this because it covers a lot of area really quickly. I also used a little bit of orange there. And I tend to scrap layouts with 1 or 2 photos, but I do like to mix it up. And when I have a series of photos, to do 3 or 4. And so these 3 photos were kind of, I took them boom, boom, boom right after one another. And so they needed to be on the same page together. So I'm liking how this background is coming along, and I'm doing the reds, the yellows, and the oranges here, and I'm going to get that organized, and then I'm going to come back in with the banner pieces. And you know, you could make a banner out of triangles as well if you have a triangle punch. I just think the circles are super easy. This is a fun way to mix up your colors and to mix up your patterns and to get a lot of different looks in each of those little half circles without it being too overwhelming, you know. And if you're doing a happy page, a birthday page, any type of celebration type page, banners are really fun and easy, and they sort of create your whole background design for you because, you know, it's already done. Once you just get all the circles in order, it's finished. So I really want to use this happy piece, considering it was the first thing that inspired me when I started pulling out all my supplies, but I'm sad to say that it does not make it to this layout. I did not throw it away, of course not. I'm going to use that on something else because I absolutely love how it looks. And that cow is definitely going to stay, but I take some time to rearrange the photos because I just couldn't figure out right away how I wanted to do them. I do know I want the banners there, so I'm going to go ahead and tape those down, and then I ran it all through my sewing machine. So I've got 4 banners crisscross there, and now they're definitely not going to move. And they look like they're actually hanging on a little string because of the stitching. And you know, you don't have to do stitching, you could do hand stitching. I just like the way that looks. And then you can ruffle up the edges and kind of make it look like they're blowing in the breeze. And I think that looks pretty fun. So now my problem is I don't want to cover it up. You know, it's part of the background and backgrounds get covered up, but I just love how it looks so much. I didn't want to cover it up a lot, and I absolutely love, I was so excited when I took that party banner, the chipboard piece, and it fit perfectly in that open spot. I didn't even plan that, it just happened, and I was like, yes, I'm going to leave that there. I love that. And so I'm going to put one picture up on top of the banners, and the other 2 are going to go right underneath it, just like I have it there, because I just didn't want to cover up any more of that fun banner. So I'm just going to kind of put 2 down below, 1 up top, and leave it at that. And those 2 cows are going to be on the left. And the one that's red says, "Party to the cows come home." And I just think that is cute as it can be. And my title is going to be Party Animal, because she is. And if you know her, you would 100% agree. I am doing this voiceover at 10 o'clock at night on a Monday, and she's supposed to be sleeping. She has school tomorrow. And what do you think she's doing right now? She's jumping on her bed and doing somersaults. Yeah. Doesn't matter what time of day. That kid is always ready for some fun. And so Party Animal is going to be my title. Perfect for her. I'm going to take some thread, and I've got some pink, some yellow, some green, and I'm just going to add that in there for entrance, really? Interest. Good grief. My vocabulary is needing some work. And I also like to use the tangled thread on pages about Paige being silly, because it just reminds me of crazy chaos, because the thread is all tangled up and it's messy and it's, you know, very random, and it just suits her personality. And so that's a good thing to use on a page about her, even though I do use it on pretty much every page I make. So anyway, I do add some little banners at the bottom, and I know those banners are triangle banners, but that's okay. I think I have 2 die cut ones and 1 chipboard one down there, and I just like the way they look. They're small and they look cute underneath the pictures. They're just the perfect size and the perfect little embellishment down there under the pictures. And I don't know if you can see because my lights are so bright, but in these pictures, Paige was in my craft room, and she had picked up my little bottle of yellow acrylic paint that I had open on my desk, and she decided to smell it. And when she did, it got all over her upper lip, and it was just funny. So of course I had to take pictures, and so yeah, she's got yellow paint on her face. So I'm going to make sure that everything is glued down You know, anytime you do mixed media on the background, chipboard rarely sticks, so I always like to make sure I glue that down. And now I'm going to come in with some circle embellishments. That says, oh yeah, and yippee. And I just realized the green one looks like it's coming out of the cow's rear end. And maybe it is. Oh well, it's going to stay there. It's a crazy fun layout, so why not, right? And now we're going to put an arrow that I cut from a sticker. I fussy cut it, and it's going to point to the cow's butt too. That seemed like the right spot to put it, and yeah. It was just orange and it fit there. Simple as that. I'm not really making any significance toward the cow, but you know. It was one of those cases of, yeah, that looks good there, let's just put it there. So I'm going to come in with some of these other little cute phrase stickers and put a couple here and there. And then I do wind up adding several more down here under the word animal after I stop the camera, just because I just kept going and I kept finding phrase stickers that were appropriate for this page. I'm going to use some of the brads here. I love the Simple Stories brads. They're so cool. They have sticky on the back. So I did add some journaling and I did a little bit more stitching through the title. And that's the final page. I love how this turned out. I had so much fun putting this together. It made me laugh the whole time I was doing it because every time I look at these pictures of her, they just make me laugh. So this was really fun. I hope you got some really cool ideas on something to try. A good way to try a banner with your punches. So I hope you enjoyed this. So let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.